The story begins with a hardcore gamer named Kenichi. From morning to night, day after day, he does nothing but play games. He's not just a casual player. He once spent 3 entire years of his life trying to clear a single game. And even after all that time, he still was not satisfied. No game out there felt challenging enough for him. One day, frustrated, he mutters to himself that all the games he has been playing are trash. He wants something truly extreme, something so difficult that it would take him at least 10 years to complete. Determined, Kenichi starts searching on his computer for the hardest, most brutal game he can find. But no matter how long he searches, nothing meets his expectations. Then suddenly, his computer begins to glitch for no clear reason. The screen flickers, and out of nowhere, a mysterious game window pops up. On it, a message reads that the game is filled with full fantasy elements and offers multiple difficulty levels: easy, normal, hard, and hell mode. Kenichi has never even heard of hell mode before. That alone excites him. Without hesitation, driven by his obsession with extreme difficulty, he selects hell mode. More options appear. He must now choose a class: swordsman, shield bearer, magician, or summoner. Wanting the most difficult experience possible, he accidentally picks the summoner class. Confident and thrilled, he presses enter. The moment he clicks, a flash of lightning bursts across the screen. In an instant, everything goes white. When Kenichi opens his eyes, he finds himself in a completely different world. But something is wrong. He is no longer an adult. He has been reborn as a newborn baby. Confused and unable to process what just happened, he suddenly sees a strange man leaning over him. The man gently lifts him up. Kenichi soon realizes that in this world, his name is Alan. Strangely enough, Alan feels happy about this reincarnation. His previous life had been miserable. He spent every waking moment playing games, working endlessly, and isolating himself. At 35 years old, he was unmarried, lonely, and had wasted his life chasing virtual achievements. Now he has a second chance. 1 year passes, and Alan grows into a healthy toddler. His father, named Radon, is around 20 years old. His mother, Tissia, is incredibly kind and beautiful. They are loving parents, and Alan genuinely feels warmth from them. However, because he chose hell mode, he was born into a very poor family. They live in a frontline village near the kingdom's borders, a place that frequently suffers from war. The villagers must pay heavy taxes to the king despite having almost no stable source of income. Life is harsh and uncertain. Even so, Alan feels grateful. He loves his parents deeply. Watching their affection for each other, he even starts thinking that someday he might have a younger sibling. At night, his mother puts him to sleep in a separate room. But once everyone believes he is asleep, Alan secretly begins working on something important. One night, he suddenly wakes up and tries to open his status window, just like in a game. He needs to grow stronger in this world, insanely powerful if possible. He repeatedly attempts to bring up his status screen, but nothing appears. Instead, something unexpected floats toward him: a grimoire. The magical book hovers in front of him, glowing faintly. Shocked, he almost screams. Hearing the noise, his parents rush into the room. Alan quickly pretends to be asleep to protect his secret. His parents assume he simply had a bad dream and leave. Once they are gone, Alan opens the grimoire. Inside, it contains detailed information about him, his abilities, and especially his summoner class. It explains his stats and the fundamentals of summoning magic. However, there is a problem. He is only 1 year old. He has no mana points available yet. Without mana, he cannot summon anything powerful. The grimoire reveals that at his current level, he can only attempt to summon tiny insects or weak beasts. Determined, Alan begins chanting quietly. He tries to summon something, anything. He uses up what little mana he has, but no matter how hard he tries, nothing appears. Then, suddenly, a crafting card slips out of the grimoire. On it is the image of a strange grasshopper. Just as he prepares to use it, his mother enters the room. Forced once again to pretend to sleep, Alan lies still. His mana is completely drained, and exhaustion takes over. The next morning, he tries again. This time, the grasshopper actually appears. It materializes right in front of his face, large and unsettling. For a moment, Alan is terrified, but then excitement replaces fear, his first successful summon. He attempts to give it commands, but the grasshopper ignores him completely. Frustrated, Alan reopens the grimoire to learn more. He discovers something important. The creatures he summons, known as familiars, can provide him with mana points, ability points, and other benefits. However, first, he must name them. After thinking carefully, he names the grasshopper Denka. When he checks his status again, he notices a slight increase in his stats after summoning Denka. He is about to celebrate when his mother walks in and sees the giant grasshopper near her baby. Terrified, she crushes Denka under her foot instantly. After several more days of practice, Alan manages to summon another creature. This time it is a mouse. He names it Mousy. Unfortunately, both Denka and Mousy are incredibly foolish. They refuse to follow any of his commands. However, Mousy possesses a unique ability called Scurry, allowing it to run at incredible speed. Every day, Alan continues studying his grimoire, trying to understand summoning magic better. He desperately wants to summon a creature that will obey him, but no matter how hard he tries, he fails. Then, one afternoon, his father suddenly rushes home, covered in blood. Panicked, Alan watches as Radon kneels down and excitedly asks, "Alan, do you want to see the monster I killed?" Alan nods eagerly. Radon carries him to where his companions are gathered. There, they show him the massive corpse of a boar monster. It is enormous, far bigger than Alan imagined. Radon proudly explains that Alan was named after a powerful creature called the Elbenbird. As Alan studies the dead boar, he gathers information about it. He learns that boar monsters are classified as C-rank beasts and are extremely dangerous. At that moment, a strange man approaches. His name is Gerard. When Gerard sees Alan, he is shocked. Despite being only 1 year old, Alan can speak clearly and understand conversation like a much older child. Gerard looks at Alan in disbelief and says, "My daughter is the same age as him, and she can barely even speak properly." Meanwhile, the rest of the villagers are overflowing with excitement. After all, it was Radon who defeated that massive boar monster. The people begin cheering loudly for him, praising his bravery and strength. About 10 months later, Alan receives incredible news. His summoning level has finally reached level 2. That means he now has significantly more mana points, access to more creatures, and even additional crafting cards. In other words, his potential has expanded dramatically. One night after dinner, Alan quietly takes his grimoire and heads back to his room. He wants to try summoning a new creature. When he checks his grimoire, he notices that his mana is completely full. But strangely, he still cannot successfully summon anything stronger. Then he discovers something new inside the book. A new type of magic has unlocked, fusion magic. With this ability, he can combine two creatures into a single, more powerful being. Excited, Alan tries to use it immediately. However, despite having more mana than before, he is still too young and lacks the necessary control to complete the fusion. Frustrated, he sighs. What am I supposed to do? Time passes, and Alan finally turns 3 years old. By now, his mana capacity has grown considerably. Determined, he opens his grimoire again and attempts fusion magic one more time. This time, it works. The fusion completes successfully, and a bird appears before him. He names it Chappie. Chappie possesses a unique ability called voice mimicry, allowing it to perfectly imitate anyone's voice. Alan's eyes light up. With this ability, he could lure enemies into traps. Alongside Chappie, he summons 2 more creatures. One is Moppy, a small creature capable of digging extremely deep tunnels underground. The other is a frog with an impressive jumping ability, capable of leaping extraordinary heights. Later that afternoon, around 3 o'clock, Alan's only friend arrives. Her name is Karina. She comes over to play, and the two of them begin mock sword fighting. Karina's swordsmanship skills are shockingly good for her age. She moves with precision and confidence. Alan, on the other hand, struggles to keep up and ends up losing every time. By evening, Alan's parents arrive to take him home. During dinner, he learns that his mother is pregnant. Because of this, she can no longer handle farming work. Alan walks up to his parents and says seriously, "Mom's stomach is getting bigger. I will help you with farming." But his father gently refuses. "You're still just a child. Enjoy your childhood. You will have plenty of time to farm when you grow up." Even though Alan feels responsible and eager to help, he reluctantly agrees. Then Tessia smiles and says, "We are really looking forward to your April ceremony." Alan has no idea what that means. His parents explain that in this world, when a child turns 5 years old, a ceremony is held to reveal their talent. It determines what kind of abilities or potential they possess. They truly believe that Alan will one day make the family wealthy and change their lives. Winter arrives, and Alan continues spending most of his time studying and experimenting with his grimoire. One day, while he is playing with Denka again, his mother suddenly walks into the room. This time, Alan does not manage to hide the creature in time. Tessia sees Denka and panics. Shocked and frightened, she collapses to the ground. Hearing the commotion, Radon rushes into the room. Karina happens to be nearby as well. At that moment, Radon realizes something urgent. The baby could be born at any moment. He immediately turns to Karina and says, "Quick, go call your mother."